We are starting to get a few more inquiries from foreign entrepreneurs. So people who really want to relocate to the US as highly qualified professionals, and they're looking for a method to do so. Um, just so everyone knows, it's really, really difficult, even for like a uh, super highly educated person, even from countries that have historically sent a lot of immigrants to the US. There are very few categories that make this possible. So they could try for one of the visas for starting their own company, like the E-2 or the L-1. Those are potential options. They could try to get hired in the US by someone who will sponsor them for H-1B, but that's really tough because the company essentially has to set the job almost a year and a half in the future. And so very few companies are willing to sponsor that. They could get direct employer sponsorship that takes maybe 3 or 4 years. Companies definitely don't want to do that. Or they can try and self-sponsor through the EB-2 NIW program. And EB-2 NIW is tough for people who are outside the US. I think USCIS right now definitely has a preference for people who are already working here in an area of US national interest. But it's not impossible for foreign entrepreneurs or foreign professionals with highly specialized skills. They do need to demonstrate that they have opportunity here. So it's not just about submitting some speculative future plan about what might happen. The person does need to demonstrate that they have opportunity, connections, ties, and so they will be able to contribute as soon as they enter the US as an immigrant. But yeah, this is a really popular program and probably one of the only programs that the US offers where people can kind of control their own future and immigrate on their own merits. So it's not to be underestimated. I know a lot of people around the world are really interested in this program right now. USCIS has received a lot of filings. The NIW has kind of taken off. And I think that's why there's such a backlog right now, even for countries that historically are not backlogged. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see these continued inquiries from people who are living abroad. I think they're well worth considering. Um, some people have been sold on the idea that it's super easy by consultants in their home country. It's definitely not easy, but it is possible. It provides a possible pathway for a lot of people who don't have any other pathway.
So if you're from abroad, you'll have to show that there is some sort of opportunity already available to you in the US. So I guess the one way is to show that maybe you've been accepted into maybe some sort of incubator or something like that. Is that just ties to US companies, and is that something you want to show? Is that one way to make up for the fact that you're not in the US?
I mean, that would be a fantastic way to go about it. Just showing that you've been accepted into some formal program like an incubator and you're starting your own company with a well-known group. That would be really, really good for the EB2 and IW. Other ways that we've done it is we work with a lot of international scholars, professors, researchers, and they have had international collaborations with other labs in the US. And so a lot of times their US collaborators are able to provide letters saying, look, this work is actually really important to the US. Here's how we collaborated with this person in the past. We are very open to collaborating with them in the future once they are here in the US. So we build that into an argument that there's opportunity for the person immediately to continue some very important research. For companies, a lot of times we want to be able to show that they have their LLC or other legal entity already established. They have the money transferred into the bank account, so they have sufficient money for the first year of operations. And for them, I think it's important to get a couple letters from potential US customers or clients. So people that can just say there's interest in the services that they're going to offer or in the products that they're going to sell. And then for people who aren't researchers or entrepreneurs, but who are instead just highly qualified professionals, usually in tech or engineering, we will want to do either job offer letters or some kind of letter of intent. So a lot of them can come over, and the first few months at least, they'll probably be working as an independent consultant or an independent contractor, because when you have a green card, you can do that. So just getting letters from potential clients or customers in the US for that kind of service, kind of like a soft job offer letter or letter of intent, can be very, very helpful for the petition. So I definitely recommend that. It's really hard when people reach out to me and they really don't know anybody in the US. I don't think that people in that situation are really ready to file. They do need to build connections in the US, or the case is, I think, likely to be denied. And that's not to say, of course, that every case will be denied. Some people do really have compelling arguments, even absent those US connections. But the vast majority of cases that I see that are in that kind of scenario, I usually tell them, like, really work on your US networking and your US connections first, and then think about establishing a company or coming over as a consultant, so that we can work on getting the proper documents there, as far as letters of intent or customer letters, that kind of thing.